Okay everyone, the purpose of this video is just to quickly show you how to set up all of our equipment for podcasting. So that's the audio interface and the headphone amplifier, as well as I'll go through setting up the mic stands, putting the mic on the mic stands, and then hooking that up to the interface. So I'm going to start out just by kind of showing you how to hook up the interface to, there's a few cables, a power cable, USB to the computer, and then connecting the audio interface to the headphone amplifier, and then I'll kind of explain what each thing does. So here we go. So what you see here is the audio interface and the headphone amp. So basically the red box is going to be the audio interface, which is what you plug your microphones into, or if you were recording some sort of musical instrument, you can plug that into it as well, and that sends all the things that you record to the computer. And I'll show you how that hooks up with the USB cable in just a second. And then the box on top of that with the five knobs is a headphone amplifier, which basically allows us to have 4 people listening to themselves talk at the same time. So you have 4 channels on the audio interface and 4 channels on the headphone amplifier, which means that you can theoretically record 4 people talking at the same time and then have each person listen to themselves so they can kind of hear back as to what they're saying. We kind of got this, we ordered this in a kit from a company called Rockville, and the reason we went with the kit instead of ordering each part separately was just because it was fairly comprehensive in terms of having, the 4 microphones. It came with both this interface and the headphone amplifier. It came with 4 sets of headphones, and then really all we had to order separately was the XLR cables, or the cables that you use to connect the microphone to the interface. So it was actually pretty convenient to have this kit. And then we were able to get going pretty quickly because we didn't have to wait for different parts to come in. So again, the red box is the audio interface, which you plug the microphones into, as you can kind of see in this picture. And again, I'll show you how to hook that up. And then that goes into the headphone amplifier, which is what you use to listen to yourself talk. Okay, so first off, we have our Scarlett Focusrite audio interface that came with our podcasting kit. Now, if you're not familiar with what an audio interface does, essentially, this is what we use to plug our microphones into, and then when you speak into the microphone, or you can plug an instrument into it like I said earlier, and you can play an instrument. Basically what this device is going to do is send it to the computer and allow you can edit in GarageBand or whatever digital audio workstation you're using, but you can manipulate it, and then that's how you take that and then you post it as your podcast or whatever it is you're creating. And so basically what I'm going to do is show you how to connect everything that you need to. There's a few cables that I mentioned earlier, and how to basically set this device up so that you can use it for podcasting. So here we have a shot of the back of the audio interface, and this is, as you can see, where you have pretty much all of your outputs for the device, which means signal going out is going to go through back here. So you have what's important. What I'm going to show you to connect today is going to be the power cable, the USB, and the cable that we use to connect our audio interface to the monitor, the headphone amplifier. So first we're going to use the USB cable, which is going to be the red one, the first one I'm showing you here, and that one is just going to go into the USB output. And then here in a second I'll show you where that goes into the computer. Again, if you've used a USB cable before, you've probably seen how to connect that into a computer, but I'm just going to show you just to make sure. And then next we have the power supply, which is just going to go into the power input in the back. And then finally we have what we're going to use to connect our interface to our headphone amplifier, which typically you could use just any sort of stereo auxiliary cable, but in this case I just grabbed a little patch cable from my house that allows us to use just a mono monitoring system as opposed to the stereo one. It's just simple. Eventually I plan on getting us a cable to use. I just haven't gotten around to that yet. But basically what you're going to do is, as you can see here, go to monitor output 1 and plug one end into there, and then I'll show you here in a second where you plug in the other end to the monitor or the headphone amplifier. And here's a quick shot of the headphone amplifier. It's a Samson QH4 4-channel headphone amplifier, and there's your 4 channels on the front. And then real quick on the back, I'll show you exactly where you're going to plug in that patch cable, just right there where it says mono. And you're going to just plug that cable right into there, and you should be ready to go. And then here is where you will plug in that red USB cable on an iMac specifically. That's what we work with. If you've got just any other kind of computer, I'm sure you know where your USB ports are, so it will just plug right into there, and then your interface should be connected to your computer and you should be ready to go from there.